Ford has offered to refund thousands of pounds to customers whose cars suffered engine failure without warning, and others complained after their cars burst into flames after overheating. Initially, drivers had been told they had to pay for repairs, and some of the engines were built at the company's plant in Bridgend. Well, Nick Savini is there for us tonight. Nick.
Thanks, Jen. This all related to the Ecoboost range of engines, which has been a significant part of production here at the Bridgend plant. We should say that the 1 litre engine was not made here, but the 1.6 litre has been made here in the past. Now, refunds, recalls, not particularly new for the car industry, but that won't make it any easier for a multinational like Ford. And the major challenges something like this presents from a PR perspective and, of course, a manufacturing perspective. Now, in a minute, with an industry expert, I'll be trying to work out what all of this will mean for production here and the wider company. But first of all, what has been the impact on drivers? Our reporter Ben Price caught up with one customer who's felt that her experience has been so badly shaken, she has lost confidence in the company.
Rhiannon Jones from Tumble says her family usually buys Ford cars, but that's likely to change because of a recent experience behind the wheel. In 2015, Rhiannon bought a 1 litre Ecoboost Ford C-Max. It all worked fine up until a few months ago.
On the day that it happened, I was driving along not too far from here, luckily, and there was a loud bang, and then the car suddenly lost power.
It was found the car's engine had overheated and failed as a result. Rhiannon says she was fortunate to have been so close to a garage at the time, given there are some examples like these where larger Ecoboost engines have caught fire at the roadside.
If it had happened then, we'd have been going over quite rural roads in the middle of nowhere, and I probably would have carried on driving a little bit longer, and it was told to me by a mechanic that that could easily have caught fire. And that doesn't bear thinking of, because by the time, I would have got my son out in the wheelchair and everything, who knows, but luckily that didn't happen.
Ford offered to pay just over half the repair costs, but Rhiannon said that was disappointing and she couldn't afford to lose any more money. Ford decided to recall cars with a 1.6 litre Ecoboost engine in the UK this year, despite taking similar action in the United States in 2014. The company accepts there have been problems, but it also says some of the issues might be down to repairs carried out by non-authorised Ford dealers.
The 96% got the rectification under warranty. That was handled. It's the 4% that we're dealing with, where either the communication went to a prior owner or an owner has failed to attend the dealer and pass the vehicle on. Because the people that are suffering with these engines are often second or third owners of these vehicles, and they weren't aware of the history.
Ford says it will re-examine previous cases linked to potential 1 litre engines overheating to ensure its policy of contributing to 100% of the repair cost is applied consistently. But for customers like Rhiannon, it's too late. Do you have faith in Ford cars at all?
I don't anymore. Actually, we've always had Fords, and my husband's got a Ford. We also bought our eldest son a Ford Fiesta diesel, but I've really lost faith in the brand now, so I won't be buying Ford again.
As one of the world's major car manufacturers gets to grips with this problem, it says safety remains its priority.
Well, let's have a word now with Professor Peter Wells from Cardiff University. And Peter, you've looked at a lot of cases like this in the past in the car industry. Put this into context. How serious is this for Ford?
Well, it's never good news. Obviously, a recall of this nature, getting a lot of public attention, is bound to cause disquiet across consumers across the country. It's going to cost them a lot of money. It's not good news. But in addition, this comes on top of all the other issues that the company and indeed the industry face, to go along with things like Brexit, of course, leaving the European Union. That's going to add costs. Things like the entire shift of the centre of gravity of this industry eastwards into Eastern Europe, Asia and China. These are all part and parcel of a big picture story, and this individual event just adds another layer to that.
Now, they manufacture engines here, indeed some of the engines that have been affected by this, but this is likely to be a design issue, presumably.
Yes, I think so. I mean, it's taken a long time to work its way through in the market, but it does suggest to me, from the evidence that's been presented so far, that this is a fundamental problem in the design of the vehicles. It can be fixed in the dealership, so that tells me that there's not something basically wrong with the assembly process. It's not the Bridgend plant that's at fault here, it's something to do with the design.
I mean, in the medium to long run, what could it mean for production in a place like this?
Well, there is a concern, obviously. I mean, I think at the moment, Bridgend isn't winning new business. They've got the Dragon plant coming along in a while, but only a bit of that work is coming here. So I think for the plant as a whole, this is just another concern.
From a consumer perspective, how do you think that the company has handled this in terms of the recall process?
Well, this has been a really difficult issue for Ford and of course for the consumers concerned, because it's hard to identify when exactly you've got a problem. You don't know for sure, given one event, 2 events, 3 events, how many events do you need until you know you've got a problem that you have to issue a general recall, which is both expensive and of course alarming for consumers.
Okay, Professor Peter Wells from Cardiff University, thank you very much indeed. And Jen, it's probably worth saying that if any confusion out there, then there are details on the Ford website in relation to what we've been reporting tonight.
Nick, thank you.